Hi, welcome to Just Common Sense. My name's Brian Harrison. Hey guys, I got Jerry on the line again tonight. Apparently we keep doing this. Say hi, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
And he always does that. He gets confused. He wants to remind himself who he is. Guys.
Well, I have to. If I don't, who will?
Guys, we got a big show tonight. We're going to talk about one thing to start out. It's probably going to be mostly about that. And I want to give a special big time applause to Elon Musk. Elon Musk. Want to talk about him. We're very proud of what he's done today. He spent a lot of money doing this. A lot of money. But we'll see. He's paid more for that company than what it's probably worth. But we'll see. I mean, if he's so passionate to spend that kind of money up for freedom of speech, that just tells you what kind of person he is. We're going to see how this works out for him. Let's see if he sticks to his guns with this. With spending that kind of money, I'm sure he will. Now, there's been talk today also about Donald Trump being put on the platform. Fox News already came out and said Donald Trump says he's not going to do it. I don't believe that. I believe that may happen. It may not happen right away. I think that may be something down the road. I know Donald Trump respects Elon Musk quite a bit. He's spoken of that. He was talking about that just a few days ago. And they get along just fine. So what's your thoughts, Jerry? And then we'll go into this.
I don't think Donald Trump will be able to stay off of Twitter if Twitter does what I think it's going to do, if Elon Musk does what he has said he is going to do. Because that's going to be the whole key, is if Elon Musk does what he says he's going to do. Because I will tell you, there's a lot of people that are just like me. Some people were kicked off. I was not kicked off of Twitter. I actually, when Twitter started, censoring free speech, I didn't just delete the app. I closed my account, and I got an email from them, and I made sure that I told them why. And so, there's a lot of people like me out there that have just walked away from Twitter over the last, 2 years or a year and a half since they started doing the censoring thing. And so, you know what? If Elon Musk is true to what he says, I may actually open a new Twitter account and get back on.
Yeah. You know what, guys? Let's talk a little bit about Elon Musk. Let's really talk about him and what he's done over the years. I mean, everybody thinks about Elon Musk as a part of the electrical cars he's done, you really got to get down to the guy. I mean, where he's from and everything else and what he's done. I mean, to do what he has done and to make the kind of money he has done, it seems like everything he touches turns to gold. He really knows what he's doing. And yes, we've talked about electric cars. We've talked about this before. We talked about how Jerry and I have talked about, yes, we believe that, there's alternative means, but you can't get rid of gas. And you're not going to get rid of fuel for a long, 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 long time. I don't see that happening. And Elon Musk even said this recently. He said, we need to depend on fuel and fossil fuel and all. He said this. And it's out there, guys. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's worth this kind of money, who is, has all these electric cars out there, all these car companies that are doing quite well. Actually, they're
SpaceX.
making, we'll get into that in a minute. But do you realize that, when you talk about his company right now, it's worth more than Ford and Chevy? I just found that out today. That's amazing. You believe that, Jerry? I heard about it today.
I do believe that. And, hearing that, I've got to tell you that I think Black Lives Matter should be extremely proud of that fact because, they always want to promote, the African Americans, and Elon Musk is African American. So.
Yep. It is true. So anyway,
I know you're trying to think. I'll explain that to the people that don't know.
Go ahead.
Folks, I know he's white, but
yes,
he is actually from Africa.
Correct.
So now that he is here in America, he is an actual African American, not a poser. So
that is a good point right there. Good point. Just because he's not of color, we'll say it, because you know how I feel about color.
Yep.
I am not racist at all.
But if he's not embraced as African American, then somebody's being racist out there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a great point. That's a really good point you brought up, Jerry. It really is.
Yeah.
And maybe some people will wake up to this fact. So, I mean, just to see what he's done. And then now we're talking SpaceX. We're talking that. Now we're talking Twitter. You realize that this guy, every time he touches something, I mean, I heard he made quite a few $1 billion just 2 weeks ago or a week ago. And it's just amazing. And here you guys and all of us are sitting here. How does he do it? What can we do to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, just amazing. And when you listen to him, he's so kind of laid back and not really pushing too much. But hey, you know what? Let's see what Twitter did today. I'm going to give you a demonstration when you're going to see it on camera here. As soon as they found out Elon Musk actually took over the company, they're probably all sitting there going, oh my God, what do we do? What do we do? 2 reasons. Because they lost their power. The power on the people is what they lost because they wanted to take control and give their views. And that's exactly what they wanted to do. They're saying we're in power. What we say goes. What the people in this country say does not matter at all. I should say does not matter. So I mean that they're freaking out.
When I think about that is that today at Twitter when it was announced that Elon Musk had bought Twitter, and knowing what his goal for Twitter, or at least his stated goal for Twitter is, all I can think of is that meme of that person after Trump was inaugurated that was screaming, the one with the glasses and and screaming into the sky, and you can't even tell if it's a guy or a girl, or I mean,
I know,
you know which one I'm talking
yes,
about.
Everybody does that. Was one of those days that we all looked at. Just amazing.
But that's all I can think of now that Elon Musk has bought Twitter. That's all I can think of, that the employees at Twitter, or at least the fact checkers at Twitter, that's what they all look like right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And when you look at all that's going on, I mean, a lot of them are probably sitting there going, uh-oh, what are we going to do? We're going to lose our jobs. And they're afraid right now, especially as fact checkers, by the way. Well,
they're
going to have to really
tell the truth. I was reading earlier that the CEO of Twitter right now, I forgot his name, but the guy that took over from Dorsey, that he's got a buyout where if he gets fired, that he gets like $44 million. Okay. I got to tell you something. If I were Elon Musk,
bye-bye.
I would never fire that guy. I don't care how much he's making.
You don't think so?
I would never fire him. I would have him do every crap job in the company that I can make him do. I would have him cleaning toilets, changing paper towels in the men's room, filling the tampon dispenser in the women's room, picking up dog poop in the lawn. I mean, I would find every job like that, and I would make him quit, because I'd make him do it during the day when everybody was there at work.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I would never pay him $44 million to just go away.
Right. So let's talk about freedom of speech. I want to say something the other night for those of you who started watching my YouTube the other night. So YouTube pulled one of my videos the other night, and it was about the mask on planes, and they pulled it. I didn't say anything crazy. I didn't say anything radical. Those of you who know that can go to my podcast. By the way, YouTube, I do have a podcast. I am on Twitter. I am on Truth. I am on Rumba. God, Roomba. I'm thinking of a vacuum cleaner. Yeah, exactly. I am on other places. So really, YouTube, you're not that big. Trust me. Most of my followers aren't there because they're not listening to you anymore. You're that small, and I'll tell you that just to pull one video because your stupid fact checkers checked it out and said, oh my gosh, he said something, because you didn't want to pay attention and believe in the truth. Now, that being said, guess what? See what's happening to Twitter. Who's next? Who is next? Is it going to be Facebook? Is it going to be YouTube? Who is next? Let's find out. Because right now, you guys are sitting back going, uh-oh, maybe the people are speaking. Because the people have power, and we have the right to speak as long as we're speaking with confidence and knowledge. As long as we're not threatening anybody, we're fine. If they threaten anybody,
was never allowed anyways.
Correct. And
it's
not.
That's the thing that they're truly censoring differing opinions, and that should never be okay in the public forum.
Absolutely
in the public forum, if you disagree with somebody, disagree with them, but then let it end right there. But as far as censoring free speech. I mean, that's what they do in, Russia.
Yeah.
That's what they do in, Uganda or other oppressive, regimes where they
Right.
jail people for political views.
Or Walt Disney World.
China, Iran,
Yeah, I know. Disney
North
World.
Korea,
Disney World.
Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear me? Disney. I don't want to use the word Walt Disney World. I want to use the word Disney World because the CEO
this is no longer Walt Disney World.
This is this is a messed up CEO's messing things up down there, and he needs to shut his mouth. And I'm going to say it that way. Shut your mouth, do your job, let people do what they want to do and be kids again. Because guess what? You're seeing what's happened right now. First of all, you got, and I'm going to break off this, just talk about Disney for a second, then we're going to go back to this. But the point is, guess what? You saw where the whole Senate down there voted against you, most of them anyway. And guess what? You're not running as your own little country, we'll say, in a sense, your own little city. You're going to end up dealing with the taxes now. And,
that should have happened long ago anyway.
Yeah,
I'm just glad that it happened now.
Should have. And there was an attorney, a judge, was it yesterday or today, who said, well, Disney, if you're so upset, come up to Colorado. Okay, I think it was Colorado. Guess what? Disney's not going to do that. They cannot afford that kind of move. Their park is so big. There's no room. Well, there's probably room in Colorado if you want to tear
down.
Well,
they could afford it, but who's going to go to Disney in the wintertime in Colorado?
That's where I was going to go. I was going to a couple things. Well, they can afford it, but the loss would be so big to move all that down there. Do you realize that's been there for so many years? And to move that, and that's where I was going. Jerry, you're reading my notes again. Going to Colorado. I have no notes. By the way, I have no notes on this. It's just coming from me. But to move to Colorado, and at that point, deal with the winter. Oh, what are we going to do for those of you who are all about climate change? We're going to have to cut down lots of trees, right? Just to make a whole new theme park. Didn't think about that, did you? What do you think about that?
Yep. Well, Brian, I know you grew up in Florida as well.
I did.
I don't know if you remember. Do you remember what Disney bills themselves as? Like what their mantra is?
I can't remember because I was probably a kid enjoying Disney World and not focusing on this crazy stuff.
And it's right along those lines. It's the happiest place on earth. And
right.
It's like, so Disney always called themselves, you know what? Now they've become the wokest place on earth, the most hate-filled place on earth, the most intolerant place on earth. But you know what? I can't imagine they're the happiest place on earth right now because everybody's walking around in there with a chip on their shoulder.
Right.
And, an agenda. And so it's gone from the happiest place on earth to pretty much everything but. And I'm sure it's still enjoyable, for some of the kids. But how many parents are walking around and, looking at something going, oh, that offends me. Oh, that bothers me. Oh, that and they ruin their whole trip.
Right.
And by the way, I don't know the last time you went. Last time I went, tickets were just over $100 a day.
Yeah.
But now they've even gone up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I couldn't even imagine, spending that kind of money to go and have wokeness rubbed in my face.
Well, there is a song that they have, a theme song. I could really break it down and go into it more. The song, it's called A Small World. Well, it's a small world after all.
I remember
now
that.
It's becoming smaller because no one wants to go.
Yeah.
Because you got a CEO who doesn't do his job right.
Well, I saw this
like
coming
that, but I'm not a good
ago.
singer. Well, I'm not a good singer, so please don't call me and try to have me go out there and sing somewhere.
well, no, but I saw all this
ahead.
coming a couple of years ago when they refused to put Donald Trump in the Hall of Presidents.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's there. He's there.
Did.
He's there.
Yeah, they finally did, but at first they were not going to do it. And I was like, and that's when I saw it. But I'll tell you how quickly things have changed. I mean, when I was a kid and, back in the 70s when Disney opened, I lived about an hour and a half away, and we were there the first week Disney was open, and we went there all the time. And, whenever relatives would come in from out of town, we would go because they were in from out of town, and hey, we want to go to Disney World. So of course, you didn't have to twist my arm as a kid to go again.
Oh no, I went all the time.
Yeah. And it's like, so the thing is, I mean, it's like, I remember, during the parades, they would have patriotic themes and,
Yes.
people flying American flags and
Yes.
stuff like that. And it's like,
Absolutely.
and I got to tell you, as recent as like, I think it was about 15 years ago or so,
Yeah.
we took my kids for the first time, 15, 17 years, something like that. I
Right.
have to look it up, but 15, 17 years ago, we took my kids. And so while we were there, my wife comes up to me. I went off to get like popcorn or something for the kids because we were
Right.
going to watch the flag ceremony there in the, right outside the railroad station. Because
Yeah.
when you first walk in, there's that big square and they have a flagpole. And in the evening, they do the lowering of the flag. And in the
Sure.
morning, they do the raising of the flag. And
Sure.
they make a little ceremony out of it.
Yeah.
Well, in the
Exactly.
evening, they choose somebody in the park as their veteran of the day.
Mhm.
And so while I was off getting popcorn, this woman starts talking to my wife and, finds out that I was in the Marine Corps. And so I was honored to be the Disney Veteran of the Day at Disney World.
Hold on,
And
guys.
dude,
Hold on, Jerry. I want to give applause. All right, Jerry deserved that applause for that.
but it was pretty cool, man. I've got a little certificate from it. I got like this very unique, like at Disney, how they have the pens that the employees will wear on their lanyards, and then you can like trade pens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I got this very special pen that only one person a day gets, and that's Veteran of the Day. And that's one I'd never trade. And I was honored. Little Mickey Mouse with a little American flag, and it says Veteran of the Day, and they actually had me march out with the police department, and they lowered the flag, and I was there while they folded it, and I marched off with them. And I got to tell you, it was quite an honor.
Wow.
And I'm just not even sure if they even do that anymore, because I'm
No.
afraid somebody would lose their ever loving mind, if they saw something like that. But I got to tell you, man, what an honor that was. And when you figure there's only 365 days in a year, and you
Right.
don't go every year, to actually be chosen for that, it was like, like I said, I was totally honored, but I'm just not even sure if they do stuff like that anymore.
Right. Well, you know what? That's the first time I heard that from you, Jerry. I didn't even know you did that. So, definitely, thank you. That's awesome to hear. So, what are they flying now? I mean, are they still flying the American flag? Or are they going to start flying rainbow flags, or what are they flying there? I don't know. It's hard to say because I'm not going there again until things get straight. So, and I see a lot of people are doing the same thing right now. I'm still surprised the CEO is still there.
Who knows? Who knows what they've got?
I don't know, because I don't want to go down there. We know I'm not against gay people, but I am against this being pushed on children when you're trying to get away from everything. I'm not
against many of these special interest
absolutely
groups. It's
not.
just, I don't want to have to necessarily accept something that I'm morally opposed to.
Right.
And it's like, but if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But the thing is, but to put it in my face like that, and it's like, I don't care for that. And to hold a special month, I got to tell you something. I've never gone into Disney. I've gone to Disney World in every single month of the year at some point in my life. I've gone during different holiday seasons.
Sure,
I've gone during
I have too.
Everything. And never once have I walked in there and had them say, "Oh, it's Straight Person's Month," or anything like that. And it's like, "Oh, it's White Person's Month." Or,
I think they have Pride Month now or something in
they
Disney.
do it. They do.
Absolutely uncalled for. Why are they having
Exactly.
this? It's uncalled for. Exactly what you said. Well, we'll have straight. Then we'll have
if you want to
we'll have
welcome a
Asian
group-
month, and we'll have this. Give me a break.
Well, see, that's the thing, that at some point it just becomes overwhelming, and there's no way to accommodate everybody, and then somebody gets left out. Somebody
Yes.
gets their panties bunched up, and and next thing you know,
Right.
we're in a lawsuit, and it's like, and once everybody's special, nobody's special. And I know
Yeah.
you and I have talked about that before. That
Yeah.
Once everybody's special, nobody's special.
It's crazy. This is absolutely insane. I mean, that's where we all go to be kids. But anyway, I think we all know how we feel about that. Let's see what happens. Maybe Disney will wake up. Hopefully. Maybe not.
And then they'll be awake and not woke.
Yeah, really. Well, there is Busch Gardens. There's SeaWorld. There's Universal. Yeah, there are other theme parks. Disney's not the number one place, if that's the case. They're not right now for sure. And my memories of Disney World, I'll be honest, Haunted House was always my favorite. Well, we know I like Halloween.
Yep.
The Hall of Presidents was always cool. And they had this big tree fort I used to love climb up a treehouse.
Tom Sawyer Island. Oh, no. The Robinson, Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse.
That's right. I
Yep.
forgot
I
about
love that. As a matter of fact, I go there every time I go, even though I've been there, 40 times,
it. Yeah.
That Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, but Johnny, I'm glad you brought that up, by the way. I'm going to say one thing. You know what? Because of what's going on when Johnny Depp went through his divorce here, Disney has pulled him away, not allowing him to be Jack Sparrow anymore. I was sitting back thinking about it. And, is that a bad thing? Seriously. To Johnny Depp, is that a bad thing? Consider that a good thing right now with what's going on in Disney. You don't want to be part of that. Trust me. Wouldn't want to be part of that at all. It may be better. You may have actually gotten a lot of good out of this, Johnny.
Yeah, but he's actually a perfect example of the left eating their own, though.
Exactly.
Because, here's a guy that, is as liberal as they come and as far left leaning as they come.
Yeah.
And it's like, and, now, they kept the whole Ghislaine Maxwell trial under wraps, kept it quiet, top secret, no pictures, no press releases, no anything. Sure. But they're publishing the whole Johnny Depp divorce thing, and it's like, so here's Ghislaine Maxwell that helped, Epstein, not only find children but actually abused them herself, and they kept her trial quiet. Mm-hmm. And it's like, here's Johnny Depp that, maybe he did, maybe he didn't, hit his wife. Now, if he did, that's wrong. Sure. It's terrible. But if he did, doesn't he deserve a fair trial?
Well, yeah, he does. And they're bringing up a lot of his past in this. And yeah, his past has something to do with some of it, sure. But it's tough for him to sit there and deal with his addictions in the past. And sure, he had a very bad addiction. From my understanding, he's doing good right now. He's straight on that. But again, to just constantly do what they're doing, it's rough on him. And, just to see, she's got a countersuit against him for $100 million. $100 million. She put a countersuit because of this against him. Yeah. I looked him up. He's worth $200 million right now. Approximately.
Well, and that's what he's worth. That's not what he has cash in the bank.
Right. But I'm just saying, you got to realize, though, because of that, what she's done. She's... there's two sides to every story, and she hasn't yet spoke. We'll see what it's like. I think she's supposed to speak sometime this week, so we'll need to see what she says. Now, Johnny Depp did admit he did certain things, and yeah, he did, and he's not right for everything he did, of course. And it's tough, and I'm sure it's tough on both of them. I'll say it that way. It probably is tough on both of them. They could be looking at each other going, maybe we're both stupid doing this. Maybe we shouldn't. Who knows? I don't know what the abuse was. I've heard some bad things on one video that she did, and she made fun of him, and she was hitting him.
Wasn't she like a nobody before they met?
Well, yeah, but she's actually done this stuff before, and she's had issues.
But the reason I bring that up is, I get really tired of seeing this with these celebrity divorces,
right?
Where you've got somebody that walks in with nothing, and the person is not worth more. Right. Because of who they married. So, like, for example, I'll just use Johnny Depp as an example.
Yeah.
He's not worth more today fiscally than he was before he met her. So she didn't provide additional value.
Right.
And so she's trying to walk away with half of what he has earned.
Oh, not more.
Even though she has not even contributed 10%.
Yeah.
And so, that's where I get a little bit frustrated when I see this stuff, because maybe she did, maybe she didn't, but so many of these people, I think, go into these marriages saying, you know what, I'm going to have fun for a couple of years. I'm going to party my brains out. And I'm going to walk away with my golden parachute. Yeah.
I'm going to say this. I heard this. I'm not sure. I saw something about it on video the other day. I was listening to some of the trial going on, I should say. I was listening to some of the live stuff, and they were doing a playback where she hit Johnny Depp. And she's like, oh, quit being a baby, blah, blah, blah. She punched him. And apparently there's been, and I'm not sure, but I'll say it this way, that they were talking that he's been into, he had bruises and things like that from her hitting. And sure, she could probably bruise him. He's not that young anymore. He can bruise easy. We bruise like peaches, guys, if we get punched. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I got to tell you something.
As you get older.
Regardless of age, have you ever watched any of the women's MMA fights? Okay.
Yeah,
You know,
I
just
don't
just
watch
because
that,
somebody
but
has
I haven't.
different
But
plumbing
no,
than me doesn't
yeah,
mean that they can't hurt somebody very
no,
badly.
exactly. No, I'm not denying that, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying in general, it's I mean, to get punched, and it's not right for anybody to hit or punch or slap anybody, no matter who it is.
exactly.
I mean, on that, no. All right, guys. Well, anyway, we could go on with that. I do want to, since we're a little bit on that subject, I do want to talk about one last thing with Disney. We know why they're doing this. Now, Disney is supposed to represent children, more, all of us, but children is the main thing that Walt Disney World would have represented himself. And I think that's his dream, to help children. That's Walt Disney. Now, you've got a governor down in Florida, DeSantis, which is a great, great guy, great governor. I love everything this guy's doing right now. I wish he were sitting in the White House right now. He would be much better than what we have up there. But you got to think about this. He was talking from kindergartners to only third grade, 6 years old, we'll say, something in that area when you look at age. I mean, it should go much further than that. And, Disney should be supporting him and saying, you know what? We agree with you. We agree with you on this. Children shouldn't be talked about at that age, about heterosexual stuff, about, gay stuff, any of that. Let kids be kids. They don't even know what they're doing. This is where I got a little peeved. I heard something yesterday, and it was actually on Twitter, and it was somebody going after Santos. And they're like, well, you're not actually giving these kids a fair shot. You're telling them that, they can't be gay. Look, and they don't. Oh, also, they may already be gay and be talking about it. And at that point, you're just telling them it's bad. Well, you know what? At that point, they don't know what they're talking about. Gosh,
Well, and
people.
actually, nowhere in that bill that he signed into law does it say that either.
No, it does
it's
not.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's that bill was just saying that you won't talk about sexualization.
Correct.
At those age groups, and it doesn't say that if somebody's gay, they should be ostracized or
right.
made fun of or or bullied or anything like that.
That's
As a matter
exactly
of fact,
right.
I mean, even though he may not, agree with that particular lifestyle,
right.
he doesn't believe in bullying and stuff like that.
Which you and I've said that on the show before when we were talking about guidance counselors and all that. And yes, we believe that there should be guidance counselors in school, but let the parents handle it. And, when I hear somebody out there saying this stuff and talking about children like that, it almost makes me feel like, what are you, a pedophile? I mean, anybody that doesn't believe.
Makes you wonder.
No, anybody. And I'm going to say it to the camera right here. Any of you people out there that believe that Santos is wrong in doing this and allowing kids just to talk about it at that age, maybe you better look in the mirror, because that's a problem right there. You may have your own issues, and you better see a therapist to get some help to deal with this. And I'm saying it right now. So I'll call it out the way Santos does. This is bull. And I'll say
frankly,
it that way.
With your comment a second ago, too, about, what we've talked about in the past about guidance counselors.
Yeah.
And, even the guidance counselor at that point, their job should not be to discuss with the child whether they are gay or not, or what being gay means. Their job should be to hear what the kid has to say. And then at that point, it would probably be to contact the parents and say, hey, you need to talk to your kid.
Absolutely.
And that's like, because that's really, there's nobody in that school.
Right.
That, that's an employee of the school or the school board that should be talking to my kids about those topics.
Yeah. And that's where I'm going with this, Jerry. That's what I was saying about this. When I started saying that, I'm breaking this down like that. Yes, I'm breaking it down, and I'm going after people that sit here, and, that's why I said it to them on camera here. I'm saying this because, you got to let kids be kids, and you can't, if they're not going to feel that way as a kid. They don't even know what that is. They really don't. As they get older, middle school, high school, all that, things start changing. We understand that. That's why you have guidance counselor. That's why you have parents who can talk to them. Hopefully they have good parents, and their parents say, well, I don't want a parent out there going, well, if you're going to think this way, I'm going to disown you. That's not a good parent. A parent's going to say, that is your choice. If you want to do that, I'm still going to love you. And that's basically what I feel about it.
Well, the job's tougher for parents now than it ever has.
Yeah, it is.
Because when you and I were kids, it's like, teenage boys might, find a dirty magazine in their parents' house or at a friend's house or something like that, and
Right.
they'd hide it in the closet, or they'd hide it somewhere, and everything like that. And you know what? Half the time they didn't even really realize what they were looking at, and it's like, and it wasn't something they could walk around with. Nowadays, man, you can pull up free porn sites on your phone.
Yeah, it's
They
sick.
don't even check your age.
Nope.
And it's like, so kids are accessing this stuff, and the
Yes.
parents need to be talking to their kids about that, but the parents do, not the school. I mean, I got to tell you something. I mean, it's like the more we let it go, and it's like you've always talked about the programming and the
Yeah.
one step at a time and everything like that. It's like we're not too far away, and somebody's
No.
going to think I'm crazy out there, but we're not too far away from the teacher saying, okay, everybody take out your phones
Okay.
now pull up your favorite porn site,
Yep. Now let's,
and
yeah.
let's see what everybody came up with. And
Right.
it's like, oh well, Johnny, why did you pull up a straight porn site? I mean,
Yeah. I know.
look, Billy over here has a gay porn site, and I think we should all be more inclusive. And
Yeah.
so it's going to go from just allowing somebody to be who they are to pushing other people to try things that they might not really want to try.
Right. And yeah, let's talk about this Congress up there. Let's talk about this. Why is it? Okay, let's talk about Facebook and all these guys. Okay, yeah, you're going to allow crazy stuff out there in your sites, but you want to ban people from certain things. Well, if that's the case, then what Jerry just brought up, why are kids allowed to pull this stuff up on the internet? Oh, well, it's freedom of speech. No, it's freedom of sickness is what it is.
Yep.
It really is. It's freedom of sickness because they make so much money, these companies doing that. Guess what? They'll kick, I'm sure might get a kickback on some of this stuff if they don't go against it. Who knows? I mean, that goes to the and that goes to our Congress up there. That goes
and kids that are way too young to even understand what
Yeah.
they're looking at are getting access to this stuff.
Right.
And then they don't understand, and then we wonder why
Yeah.
we're having the kind of child sex crimes that we're having, because
Yeah.
you get some kid that pulls up some site
Yeah.
that he
And there's
shouldn't
some
be looking
sick
at
sites
and
out
goes,
there.
"Oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing."
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you got a 9-year-old kid,
Right.
raping an 11-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Where did he learn that? I didn't teach him that at home."
Yeah.
No, you didn't. But it was out there for him to find.
I know. Hey, and I want to say it. Let's just say it this way. Let's call it the way it is. Where I think, and where I'm trying to run for and all. Let's talk about it. Why isn't our government trying to stop stuff like that? Why?
Yeah, we can find everybody from January 6th and hold them in jail even if they didn't do anything wrong, but we can't stop free porn. I'm sorry, I have a hard time believing
there is
that.
something,
I think we can, we just
right.
won't.
There is something mentally wrong with a person out there who says, well, we just can't stop that, but we're going to stop January 6th and do all that. You need to look in the mirror and realize, where are your values and morals? Where are they, guys?
No, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So they want to be upset with Trump for, being mean and saying mean things, but then they're not out there, making sure that, kids don't have access to things that are highly inappropriate and that are, emotionally damaging to the child, because, they really don't understand it. And it's like, and then the thing is, and you and I both know at that age, and even though we're not fans of bullying, it's going to happen.
Of course it is.
Pulls up a website and says something like, "Wow, what's this? Oh, what do you mean you don't know?" Ha ha ha.
Yeah, I know. I was bullied when I was a kid. I was.
Yeah, and it's like, well, everybody probably was at some point.
Sure.
And, but the thing is, it's like, but the more that we allow this inappropriate stuff to be out there, the more other kids are going to make fun of, kids for not understanding what it is.
Let's talk about video games. They've gotten so violent. You see blood squirting out of people, and it's gotten graphic and everything else. Let's talk about
the first time. Have you ever seen that video game?
I've seen
Grand Theft Auto.
Yes, I know.
Okay, the first time I saw that, I was over at a friend's house, and it was her son's. It was like a day or two after his birthday.
Yeah.
And so his mom and I were sitting there talking because, I had stopped by to pick up my daughter. She was watching my daughter.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, and her son's like, "Hey, Mom, can I play my new game?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." And Mom hadn't seen the game yet.
Yes.
And so he had gotten it for his birthday. It was Grand Theft Auto. We sat there with our mouths open in total shock at the absolute violence. And his mom was like, "Where did you get that?"
Yep.
And he told her. And so, she basically turned it off, asked him for the case. and she took it to the person who gave it to him and told him, hey, look, I'm sorry, this is a highly inappropriate gift. He was like 8 years old, man.
Oh yeah,
And
I
it's
know.
like, and I mean, and he's sitting there playing this game there. He's,
Yeah,
stabbing people, shooting people, stealing their cars, punch them in the face, stuff like that. And it's
yep,
like, his mom was horrified. And I was like, now the good news is it was me that was sitting there because, she had known me for years. And,
yeah,
she knew that I knew that she wasn't that kind of parent,
yeah. Sure.
but that's, and now it's only gotten worse.
It's
That
gotten
was
real
like
bad out there.
15, 16 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten bad out there. We look at all kinds of things. We look at what they put on social sites like Facebook and all that, and other sites out there, YouTube and everything else. We see the violence of animals, even animals getting hurt and things happening, and people are watching that stuff. There's got to be something wrong with you if you're watching animals get hurt and you think that's
agree.
funny. It's sick. It really is sick. And you sit there and go, oh, I got to see it. I got to see what goes on with this.
Or watching people get hurt.
Right. And that's the other thing. I mean, how long did it take? And you know what? And I'll say I did see this. Look, when ISIS burned out, and we're going to talk about it for a second, and we're going over time tonight, but we're going to do this because this is a very important night on this stuff. Look, when ISIS themselves, I saw the video, and it was sick, and I didn't want to see it, but I watched part of it. Like, I'm done. ISIS threw gas on a guy. They had him in a cage. Yes, they had him in a cage. They had him in a cage, and they threw gas on him, threw a match, and he's screaming and burning. And guess what? Why didn't YouTube pull that? Why? And they're going to pull this video tonight because they're mad at what I'm saying right now, because they're cowards not to talk about this. The guy that runs YouTube, the guy that owns YouTube, would not have a chance to have a debate with me. And I dare you to have a debate with me. I dare you to come on, talk to me in front of the American people. I call you out for a debate. And you won't do it because you're too scared to have a debate with me because you know you can't do it. Just like Fake Book up there. He couldn't have a debate with me at all. I can tell you that because they know that they will not win this debate, and they will lose. And yes, I am fired up tonight.
Like you said, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, YouTube has shown that they are moral reprobates. That over the years, the stuff that they have left up and the stuff they've pulled down. They pulled your thing down the other day because they don't agree with what you're talking about masks, but then they leave, animals being abused up. They leave people being injured up,
or people getting burned up.
People getting burned up. Well, and they didn't even take it down. I think it took a couple days.
It took a while.
If you remember the reporter that was beheaded, Daniel Pearl.
Oh yeah.
And it's like they even left that up for a couple days before they pulled it down.
Yes. And kids get to see this.
They literally cut his head off.
Yes, and you're sitting there talking, about, oh, we want to, we really don't want to see all that stuff, and yet our kids see it. Our kids.
How about
see
the knockout
this.
game? You remember the knockout game?
Yeah, I heard about it. I remember something vaguely about it.
I remember seeing some videos of that, and that's the one where they would just walk up to somebody on the street and punch him in the head from behind.
Yes,
and try and knock him out.
Stop these videos.
And and the thing is, you got sites like World Star Hip Hop where they go out there and start fights so they can film them. And it's like, and when you look at these sites, it's like, it's ridiculous. There's no reason for it. And it's like, but then they're going to pull down your video because, you didn't, you're happy that masks are no longer required on airplanes.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
And
that's
they're
like the child that changes the rules of Monopoly every time they start losing.
Well, we're going to take a bet on this, guys, because I'm going to put this on YouTube tonight. And when they hear this, if they get their algorithms and all and hear this, guess what? They're going to hear this tonight, and guess where it's going to go? I'm sure I'm going to get cut off YouTube. I'm sure.
But here's the beauty of it. All the people that are listening on podcasts.
Yes.
Okay, I want you guys, whether you're listening on podcasts or Twitter or whatever, media that you're using to listen to this, I want you to think about that. And I want you to think that every time that you get on YouTube and you watch a YouTube video that, when somebody's been censored, that you're supporting that censorship. And so until they start putting these videos back on, until they start allowing these videos that are not bad videos, they just have a difference of opinion.
Yes.
I mean, my goodness, if I didn't allow people into my house that differed in opinion, nobody would ever come over because there's always something you disagree on.
Yes, and Jerry knows every time if I go to his house or he comes to my house, I'm right always.
Exactly. Wait till
Hey,
the door's closed.
hold on. I was going to say, hold on. Tell my wife that.
Yeah. Well, that'll never happen. Come on now.
Uh,
We've both been married a long time. We both know better than that.
no, but this is serious stuff, guys. And what's going on tonight is very serious. And today, and Elon Musk he opened a big can today, and that's a big thing. Do you know what was said, by the way? And I'm going to bring her name up. I believe it's Bonnie Watson. She sits in Congress up there. You know what she said? Because they knew this was getting ready to happen, and they're going, uh-oh, we're going to have to deal with freedom of speech. Guess what? Bonnie Watson said, well, guess what? We're going to have to start imposing more taxes on these companies like that. She was trying to threaten him with more taxes, which guess what will affect the people of the country more than him. And guess what? It didn't touch him at all. He could care less.
Well, let me ask, is she going to impose new taxes on Facebook and YouTube?
Of course
and
not.
Instagram?
Of course not. They pay for their,
Exactly.
You know why? Because they pay for their political stuff. That's exactly why. They donate money towards their political campaigns.
You know, it's interesting, Brian, with this whole Elon Musk thing coming up. You know how sometimes just timing is providential. It's, you know, it's not planned. And
right.
So, you know, I watched an interview last night, and I don't know if you saw this, but it was an extremely interesting interview. And it was, you know, somebody that, you know, they're not one of my favorite people. They're not one of my, you know, unfavorite people or whatever.
Yeah.
It was Roseanne Barr.
Oh, yeah.
And she was talking about what happened to her and, you know, and everything like that. And what they first did was they went through a kind of a, you know, like almost like a biopic of her career and how she started and everything like that, and how abruptly it ended when she made one, you know, what people call an inappropriate remark. And, you know, I was listening to her interview last night, and it just blew my mind. And it's like, but, you know, one of the reasons she was targeted is she's conservative.
Yep.
And it's like, you know,
which blew my mind. I never thought she was.
She's not a
years
Republican
ago
per se.
Yeah.
She voted for Obama, but then she also later voted for Trump.
Yeah.
And it's like, and so, you know, I mean, but, you know, the thing is, it's like, you know, she made that one tweet, okay, which later on it kind of came out, but this never made the major news. Later on, it came out later. What was it? Oh gosh, I forget what she said. It was something in Planet of the Apes had a baby, and it was like, well, the reason she was saying that is because in Planet of the Apes, the world was upside down.
Right.
And it wasn't because Valerie Jarrett looked like an ape or anything like that. It was just how upside down the world was.
Right.
And so they had this woman on last night during the interview, and it was a black comedian. And she was talking about how Roseanne Barr is the one that helped her get her start.
Yeah.
And she's like, this is the least racist woman. And she's going over all these things that Roseanne Barr does for minority groups and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here listening to this black woman defending Roseanne Barr. And it's like, it was almost like, if you remember in the comics or it's Bizarro World, you know, and it's like, I mean, everything was opposite. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, now, personally, I never thought Roseanne was racist anyways.
Yeah.
I thought sometimes she had poor taste in her jokes.
Yeah.
But I also thought she had some incredibly hilarious
stuff.
And
she cannot sing the national anthem.
No. And, you know, I mean, but she had some incredibly hilarious stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, but the thing is, I look at her and I say, you know what? When she did the national anthem thing, you know, I was not happy about that. As a matter of fact, I lived in San Diego at the time. I was not at the game, but I did live there. And I was not happy about it. And I, you know, so I was just like, you know, I think I'm gonna take a break from Roseanne Barr for a while. I thought it was inappropriate.
Yeah. And
but the thing is, but I didn't call for her to be kicked out of Hollywood. I didn't call for her to, you know, never make another TV show or never make another movie or anything like that, because I just wasn't part of the cancel culture.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, I got to tell you something, watching this interview last night, because they were interviewing her and people around her in her life and friends and her current boyfriend. I don't know if it's her husband, and again, but her current boyfriend. And it was like, and he was like totally blown away by what happened when she got kicked off. And this goes back to our whole thing about freedom of speech. And it was just such ironic timing that this interview came out right on the heels of Elon Musk buying Twitter. And I got to tell you something. I hope that she gets on Twitter and just goes ballistic if, and I keep using the word if because I'm waiting to see it, but
It's going to
if
take a week or
Elon
two,
Musk
I'm sure.
does what he has said he's going to do.
Yeah, it's going to take it's got to realize out there. I don't think it's going to happen overnight because they're going to have to transition things over. There's a variety of things, I'm sure, steps that have to be made, and it's not something that goes in and says we're doing this right away. It's going to be a little bit of work, I'm sure. It could take a couple weeks.
Yeah, but a
I would
guy like
think
him, I
it's going to take some
guarantee you
time.
that he
He's
is
going to move quick.
already
Yeah,
he's already telling people like, hey,
yeah,
look, you know what? It's going to take time.
right,
We're going to have to work through this. However, you guys need to start thinking now. I
right.
understand the paperwork's not signed yet, the ink's not dry, but you
Yep,
need to start thinking now about how you're going to fit into, my vision.
yep.
And I
You know,
guarantee, and the people that are ready when he walks in on day one, they'll
yeah,
keep their jobs. The people
uh,
that aren't sure,
right,
some will, some won't. The
yeah,
people that won't conform, they're gone.
right.
You know,
Jerry, I'm going to talk for a minute. Give me a second. I'm going to say something because what I heard the other day, or today, I should say, I heard Joe Biden speaking. And,
I'm sorry.
yeah, well, he's trying, but let's hold on. But let's go into this a little bit. And we hear it a lot from the left, more so from the left than the right. And when he's speaking, or a lot of the left speaking, and I know where they think they're coming from, I'm going to break this down a little bit. He's saying the word black when he's nominating somebody, woman when he's nominating somebody, whatever the case may be, they're always throwing that stuff in there. Now, we know I'm not racist. I think I look at men and women just as equal. Nothing wrong there. Instead of bringing it up that way, why don't you just say, we're nominating this person because they've done a good job. We're nominating this person because they've done a good job. Not basing it on color, gender, which nowadays goes into many genders, but based on the person. Because when you do that and you put that word color, gender, transgender, women, whatever the case may be, it makes you a racist because you're actually bringing their color up, you're bringing their sex up, whatever the case. I want you guys to think about that out there because that is absolutely a person that does that is racist.
Well, you're also indicating that
Yes.
you don't believe
Right.
that they are capable people.
Correct.
Because of their color or because of their gender.
I lost Jerry. All right. Anyway, I lost Jerry. I think he just disconnected. He'll call right back in. Jerry, call back in. I lost you completely. So he'll call right back in. But anyway, where I was going to go with this is Jerry just got cut off. I think Jerry's time is up. His wife probably said, it is time for you to hang up at 10 o'clock. Either that or he lost battery power. I'm not sure. So that right there is unusual. So we'll see if we can get him back. Nah, we got a voicemail box. I think his battery died. So anyway, guys, we'll go ahead and finish up the show. We talked, Jerry's calling back in. I was going on with the show without you, Jerry. What happened?
You hung up on me.
No, we didn't hear you at all.
I know.
Died.
I'm sitting in the same chair as when I started.
All right. Well, anyway, androids do that. Now,
yeah, they do stay on until the Apple kicks them off. Yeah.
No, it wasn't Apple. It's not Apple at all. We're going to have this debate. All right, go on, people. Now we're going to have a debate. We are having phones with racist problems here. Apple or Android? No, but guys, seriously, let's think about that. I've got we're way over our time tonight. So, but anyway, just keep that in mind when we bring that up. Go ahead, Jerry. You were talking and you got cut off. Finish up your conversation about that.
Gosh, what was I saying?
It happens. You forget when you get elderly.
So
anyway, all right. This is called Joe Biden on the other side. No, I'm kidding. Not that bad.
Oh yeah, no, that's what it was.
Go.
It was about Joe Biden and the race thing. And it's like, well, no, because what happens is when you say, I'm going to appoint this black person or I'm going to appoint this female or whatever, what you're doing is you're telling not only that person, but you're telling the world that you don't believe that that person has the qualifications, the skills, the abilities to do the job based on their race or based on their gender.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give them a special shot at this,
Yeah.
even though they're not really qualified because they're black or because they're female or because they're American Indian or, whatever. And it's like, so whenever you make a special dispensation for somebody
Yep.
to give them a job, what you're saying is, if it wasn't for me and my generosity, somebody of your color would never be able to do this job. If it
Right.
wasn't for me and being, my magnanimous nature,
Right.
you would never get this job because you're a woman,
Right.
and it's like, so when they do that, what they're basically doing is they're telling these people and they're telling others like them
Right.
that, oh yeah, if you're black, you don't qualify for this job. If you're female, you
Right.
don't qualify for this job, So,
Right.
I'm sorry. And I was like, whenever they make a big deal about appointing somebody or hiring somebody or, something like that based on their skin color or their gender or,
Yeah.
their religion or anything like that, basically, I think that should be an insult.
And I think one thing about this, when they're bringing up the reason why they're bringing up color, gender, all that, and the purpose of bringing that up is to get people of that stature, color, whatever the case may be, and I hate bringing this stuff up, gender, or whatever the case may be, is to say, look what we're doing for you because you're based on this color, this race, or this, gender or whatever. Look what we're doing for you. So see how good we are to you. You need to vote for all the Democrats. That's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to get votes. They don't care about what you really
absolutely.
are. They really don't care. They're just using that as a ploy to get more votes. And that's really what it's about, guys.
Well, if you go back and look at Joe Biden's history, and the things he has said over the last 40 years and everything like that, and the bills that he has helped pass and, the people that he has been friends with and things like that. I mean, if anybody's racist in Washington, D.C. right now, it's him,
Right.
And, and it's like, and I got to tell you something, the Clintons are no better.
No. And
as a matter of fact, they might be worse.
Right. And we're going to end this note on this stuff because that's another thing we're going to talk about probably in the next couple of days. I'm sure Jerry will be on this conversation because guess what? There's a lot going on up there right now. There's a lot going on with Hillary Clinton and the whole scandal, what went on with Trump and doing all that stuff with Trump and Russia collusion. There's a big investigation going on right now, and it does not look good for her. There's also stuff going on with Hunter Biden and the laptop finally, and a lot of stuff going on there as well. That is another night, but as we're going to leave it on this note, we'll talk about that unless something major happens within the next few days. But I think that's a good one to kind of bring up in our next podcast and talk about. But as always, I want to go ahead and thank our law enforcement for everything you guys do. You guys are awesome, 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 and I'm going to say it that way. I also want to thank our military for all you guys do. And you guys are great. And I do want to thank our first responders, our farmers, our truck drivers. We see a lot going on out there. We're starting to see some food getting a little where you can get less and less food in some grocery stores here and there. But you know what? It's still making it through. And I'm not going to get into the whole chip shortage and all that tonight. Yes, we heard Biden, what they were out there, not Biden, but his press secretary. She was out there speaking. I couldn't think of her name for a minute, but anyway,
Peppermint Patty.
Yeah, Peppermint Patty. But anyway, she was out there speaking. Oh, we're doing this. We're freeing up the chain and doing all this, the food chain. We're getting more of this and this and this. And well, why didn't you do this a long time ago? But anyway, we'll bring that up in another show. I also want to make something clear because this was a very sensitive show tonight. Some of the things we talked about. Again, we are not against anybody of whatever, I want to say whatever you choose in your life. If you're gay, you're straight, we're not racist or anything else. We're just bringing up the facts. And that's what we wanted to bring up.
For anything you can change or you can't change.
Right. It is your choice.
Whether it's your religion, your skin color, your race, your sexual preference, your gender, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's you. That's what makes you you. And it's
That's
like,
correct.
And I'm not going to hold anything against you because of that.
Right. Me either. I've got friends that are gay. I got friends that are black. And I hate to use the word black. We know that. I don't care. I really don't care. And a lot of them follow me and a lot of them talk to me. And they love some of the stuff Jerry and I both say on here. You know, and I've got more and more people. I was at a restaurant the other day and I had somebody said, hey, aren't you that guy? You guys are talking about stuff. And I said, yeah. And I forgot to tell you about that, Jerry. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But he says, yeah, I want to see if I could get on with you guys or something. And, he was a nice black gentleman, and I hate to use the word black, but apparently that's the way we have to say things now. But, no, I just wanted to bring that up, guys. So definitely we'll get together in a few days, and we'll talk about this some more. So, as always, I want to say God bless you. God bless America. Anything else, Jerry? You want to say goodnight?
Good night, Jerry.
Really? All right. Well, I know he's in a bubble, but guys, good night. God bless you. God bless America. And God bless freedom of speech.
Yay.
Thank you, Elon Musk. This is a start.